Ooby-doo, it's everyone's favorite boomer and vintage lens enthusiast. The purpose of this video is to discuss the Sigma Compact Hyper Zoom 28 to 200 3.5 to 5.6 macro lens made in Japan. This is on a Canon EOS mount. It has a metal flange. This is 200 millimeters. That's 28 millimeters. Oh, it's IF, which means it's internal focus. Nothing moves on the outside. Aspherical is supposed to give you better quality. Well, you know, we're talking about Sigma here. I had the original 28 to 200 millimeter, and it never focused right. It was just soft. Soft at all apertures, all focal lengths. I don't know if I traded it in to get this one, which was exercise in futility, although it was sharper. And I got pretty decent results from 28 to 135, even to 160. All the pictures I took at 200, say I took 10, only 3 or 4 were acceptable, the rest were not, even at f10. So, in fact, there's one picture I liked and I had to sharpen it up, see if you could see which one that is. The rest I didn't sharpen up, I just adjusted the saturation and the highlights a little bit. So it was on this 8 megapixel Canon Rebel XT. The Rebel XT does have a problem with non-Canon lenses. Canon lenses work good on it, but non-Canon lenses was always hit or miss, even other brands. Eventually what happened was I was using this lens and it refused to work. I was hanging up the camera. The mirror wouldn't drop back. So I got it off and I said, well, the hell with this thing, right? It's garbage. And it's in my wall of fame here, okay? But back in 2013, my girlfriend at the time wanted to go to 5POINTZ in Long Island City in Queens, which is part of New York City. And 5POINTZ was this building. And the guy who owned the building contracted for a guy to paint the sides of this warehouse. It looked like a warehouse. So he got a bunch of other artists to come, and they would spray paint murals or designs on the building. And some, even if a mural was nice, after a certain amount of time, they would paint over again. And you could see samples of this in the slideshow following. So basically what happened, oh, the reason we went there is my girlfriend told me that the lot has been sold and they're going to knock it down and put up a luxury high-rise. Okay, this is the city, what do you expect? So I went there and we spent a couple hours there, and it was a overcast August day, the perfect sort of day for taking pictures of the sides of buildings because the shadows were completely even all over. Now, a year later, they did knock the building down, and the artist sued they didn't own the building, but they sued the company because they said they didn't get a chance to document their work. But all photographers from all over the world are going here to document their work. So they won $6 million. And, well, that's just the way it is. Now, here it is, 2025. You're talking 12 years later. I said, oh, I forgot about these. So I'm going to do a little slideshow of it. And concurrently that day, after we did 5POINTZ, we went to Dumbo down under Manhattan, Brooklyn Bridge, but that's a separate slideshow, which will follow this one. So what is the bottom dollar? This camera is acceptable, even at 8 megapixels. At 28, 35, 50, 80, 135, I got really decent and sharp results. And I seem to like closer subjects than further focusing at infinity. So 200 millimeter, oh, I had the damnedest time getting this thing to focus. It did focus, and when it did focus, it was good, but, you know, if it's not focusing, I don't know what to say. So I brought like 4 Sigma lenses. 2 of these, an older one and newer one, this being a newer one. I bought a 17 to 24 wide-angle zoom, and that was a great lens, but it had so many mechanical problems, I had to get rid of it. I bought, oh, they were all used. I bought one new, a 35mm f1.4, and wide open. I wanted to use it for astronomy. It was really aberrated. I couldn't use it, so I sent it back. And I bought a Canon 24mm f2.8 instead. So I had bad luck with Sigma. I always had bad luck with Sigma. Here's some old lens I bought for $5, and the aperture doesn't work. So there you go, Sigma. I had this happen on another lens, another zoom lens, Sigma zoom lens. I had it for many years, and then one day the aperture stopped working, and I just gave it away to somebody, play with it. So there's Sigma for you. But why don't we just jump into slideshow, and we'll see what 5POINTZ is all about. And even with a mediocre lens, you can still get excellent results. So here we are in the power of magic in Long Island City, Queens, New York City, in a place called 5POINTZ. And what it was is home to a bunch of graffiti artists. And this guy contracted this one guy out to do it outside of his warehouse, because that's what it looked like, a warehouse. And all these graffiti artists came and they did their thing there. And this is in 2023, August 13th. And it was this hazy, cloudy day. And the lighting was completely even wherever you looked. So I was able to capture these murals without any high contrast or deep shadows or bright highlights. Now, what happened was, in 2023, my girlfriend says, let's go to this place because they're going to knock it down and it's going to be gone. So I said, yeah, okay. I could check this lens out with this camera, which is the Sigma compact hyper zoom 28 to 200 millimeter, and it's on the Canon XT 8 millimeter DSLR. At the time, it was a decent combination, but Sigma has always had problems with their quality control. Every Sigma lens I had always had issues, and I don't do Sigma anymore. Now I know people are going to say, oh, Sigma is a great lens. Well, you know, there are other options besides Sigma. Now, these pictures, a lot of them came out sharp. If I was under like 150 millimeters and I stopped down to f8, f9, or f10, then I got some really decent results. The lighting was so even that I left the aperture at f10, and I let the camera pick the shutter speed, and they went from like 160th of a second to 1,000th of a second. Of course, it often picked a slow shutter speed when I was at the long end of zoom, and I got some unintentional camera movement. So these guys didn't know that they were going to knock this building down. The guy sold it, and they're going to put up a high rise, right? Even though my girlfriend knew about it, they didn't knock it down until later. Now what they did was they whitewashed everything, right? And then they knocked it down, and the artist sued, and they got a bunch of money. So there's two purposes. One is checking the lens and camera combo, and another is as a historical record, because now in 2025, that's 13 years ago. Other people there took these pictures. I've seen a lot of people there. I was there. There must have been 50 people there, and I wasn't with them all the time. I've seen people come and go. So it wasn't like it was a surprise, but to some people it was. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. So some of the art was, here's some people, here's the people. This is a small bunch. I think I've seen some other bunch, and people came in on their own. Now I knew this place was going to get knocked down, and I was never going to return to it. So I did a comprehensive photojournalistic study of this building, 5POINTZ, the graffiti artists, which is a time and a place. Now, if you look at some of these murals, some of the murals are painted over like a mural. I don't know how long a mural lasts. I guess the higher up, your art was on the building, the longer it lasts. But at street level, I guess it was always being repainted over. And I seen themes there, and there's rather originality. Of course, if I'd known about it, maybe I could have went a couple times and caught the evolution, but it's right at the very end. So, at least I got something. This is a historical record to show you what this place was. Now there's a big giant steel and glass rectangle with some curves on it. It has like 6,000 units in it. So, well, people need a place to live, I guess. Now, the owner contracted one person to coordinate this, but I guess it wasn't a work for hire. So they sued the developer and they got some money. How about that? So, but we're talking about New York City, trippy place. Some of the artistry is fantastic, like this weird buffalo calico person. And then, it's got splashes of stuff all over. I like what they did to the dumpsters, even the dumpsters were painted over. And some of it, I guess someone's trying to make a comment about something, you know. And of course, a lot of it is graffiti themed. A lot of it has spray cans in it. I was wondering, what it is? Just think of whoever they're buying their spray paint from had to retire because they weren't buying spray paint anymore. Godzilla. Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I spent like 2 hours there. That's my girlfriend at the time on the right there. And we walked up and down the street, around the block as much as we could. And of course, I had the zoom lens. Of course, I used the wide angle and I used the telephoto. I tried to capture detail and a wide view. I found 28 millimeter on a crop sensor. It was pretty decent. I mean, you just have to back up a little bit and you can get what you want. Here's some guy with his fifth wheel camper driving down the street. If you look closely at this picture, it's blurry. 120, whatever it was, for some reason, it just wasn't kicking in right away. Even though I had a focus confirmation lit up in the viewfinder. So I have a bad opinion of Sigma lenses. But this is like one of the few lenses I had at the time. And, I guess I got some decent pictures. Now it's 8 megapixels and they were shrunk down at 1920 by 1080. That's this film format. And you see some big B pictures are 1:1 crops. And they came out pretty decent. You can see some detail. Now what did I do? As I adjusted the colors a little bit, I redded them up because it was a overcast day. And then maybe I adjust the levels a little bit to reduce the brightness and make it seem more contrasting. And of course, by judiciously zooming up on something, I can make my own comment about these artworks. But they're gone. It's not like the Mona Lisa is in a museum somewhere. Of course, a terrorist could, destroy it, but we still got it as of right now. But this is gone. It was an act of progress, right? I mean, this building in a neighborhood looked run down. I don't know if you ever watched the Dead End Kids or the East Side Kids, with the little grocery and Hunt's Hall. And, it sort of had that look to it, like this retro neighborhood, even though they were using modern techniques for arts and stuff. I guess those were all the people's artists. They put their names up there. I was wondering if this is part of the art. Somebody put those two here's a perfect example. They had some Egyptian motif and it was painted over. I said, man, I would have liked to have seen that Egyptian motif and what it was all about. And it looks like whatever was painted there, someone had that skull and crossbones. And I wonder if these pictures of representations of people are actual people or made-up people. So they even painted over this little pipe. Now, this is actually should have been a vertical composition, but I left it horizontal. This dog looks like he's upset or something. Yeah, here's the school. The Institute for Contemporary Art was just down the street. Oh, look, it's little Alex from A Clockwork Orange. Long Island City welcomes you. So, I don't know, some people on drugs or I don't know where they get their imagination from. Across the street was the Court Square Diner, open 24 hours, but I didn't see any graffiti on them. It's like the graffiti was only concentrated around this building and nowhere else. Now, what happened to these people? Did they go somewhere? And are they doing graffiti somewhere else or what? I don't know. The Shannon Pot. Looks at Jackson Ave or something. Pedro. The Sigma 28 to 200 hyper zoom, stay away from it.